Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. This will be a collective reading for all the signs. It's intense full moon in Capricorn. It's really intensifying intentions, bringing our thoughts and desires, even bringing out fears of what will be, fears of just not knowing what's going to happen. So I think people are creating these illusions. Saturn is in, Neptune is in Capricorn. I believe that's correct. And it's really enhancing things that aren't there, things we can't see. So fears that don't even exist, instead of Neptune can kind of be that dreamer energy where it's what we don't see, what our intuition. So it can kind of bring us into an illusion of false beliefs, false reality. So I feel like very necessary right now to stay in a positive mindset, because thoughts are very powerful. Creating your journey. So things are not falling apart. They're just restructuring themselves. There's a transformation. So there's a feeling of losing something where something is ending to restart a better reality, less based upon playing by other people's rules, and now realizing you are your belief system. So to believe in yourself more. Okay, so for the collective, we have envy and trust. I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. Definitely feel like always felt different. But your challenges are facing the shadow, which can cause you a little bit of butting heads with those who disagree, are lost in the what's safe and what's or I feel like your challenge has always been to go against what's been told to you, and to really see and to bring light to a different like highlighting something else, going towards a different belief system, or what just makes sense to you may not to others. So I feel like you still need to trust what you believe. Not everybody is a free thinker, so I feel like very bold in your creative energy. So you come to your own conclusions. So trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So yeah, following your intuition right now. It's very Pisces energy. Your emotions are sometimes not the same as everybody else. The way you think and the way you love is quite different. Bring a different aspect to to things that are life lessons. You look at things as there's always something to learn instead of running away. Feel like whatever your intuition is showing you right now is guiding you all through these different challenges so that you can grow and see this different way to have like a balanced harmony. The sun can be very nourishing and bold and warm, but it can also be very powerful and destructing. Just like the sun, it nourishes everything, but it is a big ball of fire, so can't get too close to it. It'll burn you. So I feel like sometimes you feel burned by certain people that you trust. It's been a challenge because I feel like challenging other people's decisions and decision making and feeling like you go against others, like not in a bad way, but just, you don't just follow what you're told. So you feel like whenever you kind of say you're a different thoughts, it can challenge your friendships, be looked at as being too prideful, but that's not the way you're trying to come. That's not what your intentions are. So I think you just trusting in yourself, and know that there's a reason, there's a purpose, and that you're bold and you stand out. That's part of it. If you thought like everybody else, then I feel like you wouldn't be changing. You wouldn't be having these bold thoughts, these following your knowledge, and really just like I feel like you like decode things in your mind, and you don't need to look everything up and just kind of repeat what. Okay, on the imagination, yeah, I feel like you have that gift of, having a creative outlook on issues that are going on, or the way others look at things as a problem. You can solve it using your imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. Yeah, so. Yeah, your mind is it's creative, and it's expanding out of like what some people can't, the reach of others. It's too, some people it just like it's too far out of the way people can think. Like if it's not something people understand, they're not there yet, then that's just how it is. It's not. Your creative mind sometimes needs another creative mind to understand that aspect, or everybody would be having those creative thoughts. It's kind of, can only understand as far as your lessons I've learned. Oh, jeepers, almost knocked everything over. Try not to have a reaction. I feel like when things get chaotic, all right, hold for the collective. feel like there's a lot of awakenings right now, and like light bulbs going off people's heads. And even though all this awareness is coming into the collective thoughts and minds, I still feel like people don't know how to really connect the dots yet. So it's a process. It takes time. Some people take longer than others to understand. You know, some people that resist and don't want to, it takes longer. But after the retrograde, Pluto will be back. It's in retrograde in Capricorn. So once Pluto goes completely directly back into Aquarius in January 2024, I feel like there's no longer able to live with a blindfold on. That won't work anymore. So there's some adjusting right now that with this retrograde, I feel like it's a positive thing, so people can slowly we had a little taste of what it was like for Pluto to be in Aquarius, you know, and then now we're back in the old energy, so of systems and structures based upon material and financial instead of spiritual. So yeah, for the collective, what's going on right now? What guidance on this journey? What is going on this journey? What can we show that we're learning and feeling? What is your journey all about? Okay, so this is the Starseed Oracle, ancestors energy. This is definitely not our first life cycle, you know, we just can't remember things, so it's nice to look into our past, yeah, just to kind of give us an idea, maybe what we are needing to remember right now from certain situations, certain times, lands, whatever is hidden. We have that sacred knowledge, secret also. It's in our subconscious. I feel like there's lots of very odd dreams right now that aren't really dreams. They're almost like projections of something we've lived through, or astral projecting. You know, you can actually go back in time and different places, so that actually could be happening. All right, one more card, please. Oh, okay, I got that. All right, so Whale and Orca Elders, share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. Yeah, so with Pluto really diving deep and really having this equal give and take energy. Nobody needs more than others. I feel like this overindulging in things we do not need, that we know that it's not good for us, and they're causing us and the collective, you know, so I feel like they're really being watched over right now and receiving lots of support around you from your elders, the spiritual world. I feel like music may be speaking to you. Lost lands, soul memories, and gifts. Yeah, so you're diving deep into the memories right now. Sorry, there's a bug. I feel like, so soul memories and gifts. So I feel like you have the gift of intuition, the gift of communication, sharing your songs. So I feel like definitely have something that others can be taught, you know. I feel like there's just this old soul energy where you just know about sacred things and metaphysical, and really diving deep into the shadow work, into the depths of your soul, you know, and really releasing the old frequency and allowing the earth to replenish you. Lost lands, soul memories, gifts. You've done this before, so yeah, this is not your first rodeo, you know, but I feel like as many times as we have to come back and continue our lessons, I feel like this time is everybody is when the world is kind of putting out that energy, when I say the world, I say like what is being programmed into our heads and being told to us what's going on. When it's a really negative thing, I feel like it's because there's actually a really positive thing happening. So, you know, I feel like when people go out saying that this is the end of times, I feel like it's the end of another cycle. And that's a good thing. That's the world. You know, you're closing out cycles, which are usually lessons learned. It's a cycle, you know, and you come out better and stronger, wiser. You know, those scars are for a reason that you've had to learn and endure. And the more it hurts, the more you grow. Unfortunately, like, it's a positive thing, but it's not easy to hear. I understand. Trust me, I know. So you have done this before, so that's I feel like such an empathetic person. People have endured so much, you know, where just because you're a warrior doesn't mean that it didn't hurt. You still feel pain. You know, you just get a better understanding of what's going on. So, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't sting a lot sometimes, you know. And it's just a need to trust what your mind has been kind of like storing data as all this, the lessons in healing and, you know, transforming energy as like an alchemist. It nourishes your soul because you understand the collective of what's going on, and within the frequency, it's able to really bring everybody's consciousness up to an understanding. And it's always uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be told the truth when it's been kind of been wrapped in bubble wrap. When really need to go back to the lands, you know, I just feel like this refreshing energy of flow, and, you know, trees aren't being torn down and burnt down, and I feel like there's just so much blamed on things and like people, you know, blame for what's going on in the world, and that's not why that's happening. So, I mean, when you can't understand what's going on, it's really hard to form a solution to a problem. When you're told something, you really can't. You're like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Instead, a free thinker will take that information and kind of pick it apart. Well, that doesn't make sense, you know, and like, well, this makes sense, you know, this is how that would logically only work out. And I feel like emotionally you're being tuned into this frequency, a higher frequency, which means you are able to kind of collect information within yourself and have this greater understanding. Loosen your grip. Yeah, so it really allows you, when you're aware of what's going on, I feel like you really loosen your grip on trying to hold on to what's going on, because it feels comfortable, but comfortable doesn't mean good, right? Comfortable means, well, you didn't have to think about anything. I mean, so coping mechanisms, density, addiction, like God, and yeah, so I feel like just not living in your authentic, really things are trying to attack you, so you're always at a low vibration, you know. But to remember, everybody is a mirror of themselves. How somebody is to you is their own feelings towards themselves. So I feel like there's been a lot of things that you indulge in, we all indulge in, that keep us stuck in really not learning the lesson, you know, because you don't want to feel something. Instead of just feeling it, letting go, and moving on. Again, not as easy as I just said that, but I'm just saying it. Trying not to make this too long of a video. But anyways, yeah, so I feel like there's been lots of things that to cope with this reality that we are not understanding what's going on. So it's really a lot of negative things are told on a daily basis, you know. So when you tune everything out, I feel like and go in nature. It's such a peaceful, it's not the same thing. So that singing a song, maybe you need to go in nature, hear the birds, really connect with ancestors and just nature. Nature is beautiful. You know, rerouting yourself. Do things outside that you love. It really raises your vibration and yeah, your health too. For some reason I've had a message to watch your health, make sure that you're drinking lots of water, not to be indulging too many things that are bad, because for some reason right now I feel like things are affecting us. There's a need for more of the things that we indulge in, which can really long-term effects not be a good thing. It's really weakening your immune system. So go in the sun, drink water. It's all a part of the things that our body needs. And water your garden. Nourishment. Nourish yourself in the water. Water is frequency, like literally, not frequency. Water is frequency, sorry. Water changes with frequency. It literally changes form. If you look at a microscope on water, on a drop of water, and just, you know, saying positive things, angry things, whatever emotion that is being spoken into the universe, you know, out loud, water transforms. So that's why people like will manifest on water, and they'll put in like intention. Water is nourishing, but it's also extremely intelligent. So if you're drinking lots of water, I feel like I forgot what I said. Yeah, so it's water's our emotions. Oh my gosh, yeah, water is emotions. So and water actually holds emotions. Oh, I never even thought of that before. So water is emotions in tarot. It's the cups. It's cups of water. It's how you, you know, as you have an empty cup of water, it means that you are lacking emotions, or you have too many, you have spilt the water, you know, like you lack energy or regret. So I feel like these emotions that we store, that are stored in water molecules, that totally makes sense. Interesting. I'm not sure where I was going with that, but that is quite interesting. Okay, so yeah, yeah, getting like even like a little routine, since we're still with that Pluto and Capricorn, even just a little routine right now could help. Just like like a spiritual routine, like meditation, having a positive, like being grateful and putting some positive thoughts for the collective and yourself on the universe. And while you're drinking water, while you're in the shower, really release all that, detoxify from the day, release all that built up emotions, built up whatever was building in you. Just release it and really start over with this. You know, thank you for allowing me this positive energy. Thank you for releasing what no longer serves me. You know, and I feel like it almost really build an emotional connection within yourself, and this understanding what water really does for us, how important it is, that we don't just wash to wash. Like there's an actual, just like when it rains, there is an emotion to that. There is a need to wipe away, to wash away and cleanse the earth. And then after it rains, there's that rainbow and the sun, and you really see that, oh my God, the earth needed that water to grow and restore, you know. So yeah. Really feeling lots of energy right now, lots of emotions. So if you're feeling like the very dense energy, you know, it's very it's intense. I feel it intense as in like it's maybe a little bit heavy, but I feel like it's just because there's so much information coming in and so much transformation and shit that really just does something to our body that we don't really understand as physical symptoms. And we do get the physical symptoms when full moons are very intense. And Capricorn full moon is definitely intense. It's intense, but in kind of like stand up straight kind of energy, you know, like get your elbows off the table when you're eating, like that kind of energy where it's not like, I mean, like it's intense, like it could be a reactive energy. Having to only follow one way, you know, you can't turn off the road. You have to only follow that one way of going somewhere. You can't take another route, where Aquarius is going to be like total opposite. You know, like take that dirt road over there, you know, and going off road and looking at different ways instead of always doing it a way that works, you know, but works for who? It doesn't work for everybody. So, no, that doesn't work. So, yeah. Okay. That. Yes, so Cancer new moon is coming up, which is the moon energy, water, also emotions, home, nourishing, the need for like just a warmness within yourself. Give yourself some time to regroup from all these shifts, you know. It's been a lot. So know that you're not being attacked and you're not going through any karma right now. I hope not. This is just kind of the end of the shedding of the skin, the transformation, kind of like, and really, faster you understand that you need to release that old energy and not try to hold on to it. Not be stuck in your ways. What? Well, my grandfather told me how to do that. Well, it's, okay, like, we need to evolve. Not what someone's told you. It's what's best for our kids, the next generation, the one after that. Like, that's what's important. It's not about being prideful and doing things because you just want to, I don't know, be, some people are really stuck on, and they don't want to learn anything new. I understand some things, you know, that's fine, but for this kind of stuff, I mean, when you kind of know in the back of your head that something's bad, but you do it anyways because it would be way too much of a leap into the unknown to want to change it. So just staying is not the right way. It's just harboring and still leaving it up to others to do. Like, I'm just, for myself, I just would rather stare fear right in the face. Especially things in the world that are just not working. Kind of nice to be different and not like everybody else. I find it a compliment when you get older, because I don't understand how people can just do things a certain way for so long without realizing why, you know, just because, no, I can't. So, yeah, but I'm looking forward to Pluto and Aquarius reinventing everything, really going outside the box and being a rebel for what you believe in, like standing up for what is, knowing what is wrong and not just cowering and putting back your rose-colored glasses and not wanting to face uncomfortable situations. You know, I find that to be such a coward thing to do just because you're following everybody else, you know, and you know it's wrong and it's going to end up hurting. You just, well, there's nothing I knew about it. Yes, there is. There totally is. Totally is. I don't know. I feel like you lose yourself when you do stuff like that, right? Eventually, I think you need to learn the lesson and stand up for not just following whatever everybody else does, knowing it is just totally incorrect. So it's time to pull the pants up of growing up and making your own decisions, you know. Leaving the nest. Do what mommy and daddy told you to do when you're a middle-aged adult, like, you know. Don't need to impress everybody. You're not living somebody else's life, you're living yours. And really gonna understand when it's too late at a certain age that, oh, okay, like maybe I should have made a change and not just did what didn't disrupt other people's day. Because like that's gonna disrupt your whole life. Because you don't wanna disrupt somebody's opinion. Like, I'm sorry, it's happening. I'll say it and then I'll apologize. That's a Gemini thing to do, but I'm still gonna say it. The Hierophant, that is really coming into your higher learning abilities and almost just like feeling this release into, you know, that I feel like just for so long, no one knows why they're here, what their purpose is, and it really does feel that lost, you know. So we just do whatever. Okay, well, we don't know what it is we're supposed to be doing, so let's just comply with what is told because we don't know. But I feel like this is you coming into this light of, no, that's not gonna work for me anymore. It's Taurus, it's fixed energy, it's Earth, it's pleasures. It's ruled by Venus, but it's more into the pleasures and luxuries and things that make you feel good. Not really just it's not the relationship part, it's more of the, Taurus is also stubborn, very stubborn, but, and also, yeah, so I feel like this is really you discovering what, like, no, that makes me unhappy. I don't want to do that anymore. You know, really this energy of no more pushing you around, right? No bullying you around. Like it's the bull energy, like where you're just standing strong and yeah, not here. You're not here on your journey to learn lessons, to people please, and make yourself miserable. I feel like that is, you're including yourself in negative things, which kind of include yourself in that person's karma, which you should just stay out of. And I feel like you're not being like true to yourself. It's like you're lying to yourself by just agreeing with other people. Like, I just find there's something so unattractive about puppet personality. It just agrees with everything. Like, it's so boring, you know. It's nice for everybody to have a different perspective. And oh, I never thought of it like that. Like, I love different ways of thinking. Even if I don't necessarily believe in it, it's still, I feel like it just grows us as opening your mind to things we never thought of, you know. Like, I just think it's an ego thing to not want to believe anybody, or not believe, but even hear other people out, maybe putting their ideas into a possibility, you know, of something. There's a maybe something in that perspective, you know, will kind of bring you to a different, you know, another realization. So it's really just like, stop. I mean, there's a need in the collective to just stop with this wanting to hold on to ways of doing things. All right, finish this off. All right, so listening to your inner voice right now is guiding you. There's lots of water and lots of, there's soul memories and gifts. It's definitely been here before, you know. Oh, I mean, who knows how many times that we've been here before. You know, but I mean, all the mistakes you make, it's actually a positive. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn. You don't learn usually from, unless you make that uncomfortable mistake, or, you know. So a higher spiritual learning, the 5 is change. So really going into what you've kind of always felt, but you didn't want to be that person that makes everybody, you know, some people will laugh at going against the norm, right? You lose friends. People, anyway, so changing, there's a change in this stubborn energy of not wanting to, like that fixed energy. So not wanting to change. I feel like just being kind of like, nope, it's my way, that's it. Nope, don't want to hear your way. Nope, I'm gonna always think this way. It's like, you know, I don't really like that energy, to be honest. But anyways, yeah, so I feel like you're mutating your ideas and allowing growth. The wheel is fated events, you know, completing cycles, and where you kind of have the wheel at your hand, like which way do you want to turn. Could also be divine timing. I feel like you completed the cycle of the spiritual, just kind of accepting it. I feel like that's what it is. You're accepting your journey now instead of resenting it or resisting it, you know, because it caused lots of really different challenges. Always feeling like just you're different, so that's not a good thing, where now you're realizing that the difference is the ones that have the most inspiring thoughts, and they change the world with their expansion on reality instead of being closed off. You know, it's kind of really bringing in this different, we'll do cycle 10. So 10 is also Capricorn in the zodiac signs. So I feel like the wheel is turning in this, going back into Pluto and Capricorn for this time period. I feel like you're kind of teetering into that old energy that was stuck and felt comfortable, and you know, because it's what you know. So I feel like you're kind of going back and forth between your journey, your fated life, and your destined life. So I feel like when Aquarius is coming in, you're just gonna know. You're gonna have the clarity. You're just going to know. And 10 reduces to 1. So that's the Magician. It's Mercury energy, Gemini, and Virgo. So that is bringing in alignment and just realizing that you're choosing to trust your inner voice, instead of a voice on the television. You know what I mean? Tell your own vision. Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles. So I feel like something that you have been putting investment into, it's a slow energy, the Page. It can be an opportunity that you have been, and like you've almost been, you're putting invested energy now. Like I feel like Pentacles are reliable, but it's also slow. So I feel like this slow and reliable energy, it's kind of like you really slow down. And Taurus is also that energy. So I feel like you're planning things and at a better, you're being more practical in the way you plan. So you're not rushing through things and stumbling. So now I feel like you're just slowing down, reanalyzing, and now putting more your efforts into how you're slowly building, investing in this journey, you know, but it's still kind of a back and forth, the wheel. It's turning back and forth, but faith is going to need you to trust, because you're guided in the right direction. So until you accept that, I feel like you're going to be tottering back into this kind of, into the old challenges that you had when you've already completed the cycle, but you're going to be you go back, not really knowing what you're doing because you're not sure. And this change, and 9 of Pentacles, oh my gosh, that's the Independent card. So you're like, yeah, you have these investments, you have everything. Like, you don't need to question what's coming for you. You have all your stability coming in. Like, I feel like this abundance, you're creating your own abundance. This isn't abundance coming in from somewhere else. This is you putting that time, you know, putting those opportunities and really starting from scratch. And okay, whoa, I just realized they're standing the same way. I'm not quite sure what that means, but it's quite interesting. I feel like that's like you're standing still in your power. Like, you're accepting this, that you feel and you see all these synchronicities and you know what's going on, but just because of all the other people around you, they just don't have that. They're not there on their lessons. Maybe they haven't been here as many times and need to. They're not the one to change everything, you know. They're the ones that need your change, and it will kind of domino and, you know, it will eventually get to them, you know, but people have to do it on their own. So that's that stuck in your head, not knowing what to do, anxiety, sleepless nights, because you keep going back and forth. And that's funny because you have the 10, the wheel, when you're complete, you've already completed these things you keep going back to. So with the 9 of Swords, I feel like 10, you're going back to 9. So it's like you completed it, you're doing the right thing, you're moving into this energy of balance, but then you go, oh, no, I'm not doing the right thing. And then you go back to the 9, which is back into the Virgo hermit, healing, needing to heal something inside again, and really going within. But you've already been there and you've already completed it. So you're going back into this anxiety state that you're causing on yourself. These are your own thoughts, and they're usually not the correct thoughts. This is our self-imposed thoughts that having a lack mindset, not trusting, not having trust in yourself, because like it's your subconscious is trying to guide you to show you all your gifts. I mean, I'm just gonna share something personal, my story. When I have my dreams about kind of showing me what's going on there, it's really confusing. I can't put it together, but it's just they're so odd. Like, I'm actually, it's not like odd, like, I'm not saying weird things, but it's just the things that I'm doing are like odd. Like, instead of having cars on a highway, it was like full of water, like gushing through, you know, and people are in the water. And I feel like that's emotions and overload coming in, scrambling, and not people taking this, whatever is changing, whatever is shifting in the just within us, you know, I feel like some people are going to take it as a disaster. So like it's going to come down, like you're stuck in deep water and you can't get out. And then others are going to realize that they're being shown the deep water is the darker you go into things, the shadow, the more light you see. It's just, there's not one without the other. So I think that more you dive deep, understand things, then you understand how to heal. You know, not everybody is the same. Not everybody is on the same journey, at the same stage of the journey, I should say. So I feel like you are taking this upon yourself to be independent and going after this, accepting the challenge of going against everybody's, you know, making that a little uncomfortable feeling that you have to step out and stand and, you know, not be like everybody else. So, which can be hard to do sometimes because you get judged, right? And then judgment is 20 to intuition. So 20 is also when judgment comes in, it's like you have no choice, almost like judgment is coming. It's like you're being, this revelation is coming, you know what I mean? You're being pulled out of your old situation, and it's like a rebirth. It's an awakening, and it's uncomfortable. And when you're being pulled, you're being things are happening, and you're having to readjust, but there's a reason, because in the spiritual world, you're actually being pulled out of these situations that you already learned all the lessons, and now they're just keeping you in a stale energy instead of growing. And I mean, when there's an ending that needs to happen, it always feels like the world's ending. Oh boy, I know. And we resist so much, but yet when you look back a year later and your life is always better, always a better relationship, always a better job, when it's meant to happen. Mind you, you don't just go and quit your job, but when it's meant to happen and you're resisting so much, and you know it, you know that there's, it's like bringing you down, and you still hold on, but yet it's always when there's meant to be an ending, always the beginning is better, or the whatever the beginning to the new job, new career, whatever, right? So whatever that is, you realize, oh my gosh, now I know why all that had to happen. Something, it's almost like that's your, like when miracles come in, that's usually how they come in. But something has to end for something better to come in. So I feel like a lot of people, they block their good karma, they block their, because they just don't understand. People don't want to go through the pain. You know, it's not easy. King of Cups. It's like investing in increasing your awareness of your spiritual journey. Accepting the flaws with the good. Knowing that all that pain that you had to endure, all the regret, everything, that you're releasing it now. And I feel like it's a new day. That ship sailed, a new one's coming in, and you understand that your cup is never empty. It's just a mindset. All right. So, and I mean, love is within. You can't really fully love somebody else until you learn to love yourself and accept yourself. All right. So that's long enough. I'm going to finish with one more card. So one more for the collective. What is coming up next? Okay, what's coming up next? So the Emperor, that's Aries. 4, so it's like about structure. Oh my gosh, wow. Stop. Oh my gosh. So it's number 3 and 4. I've never seen these cards together, which are the divine counterparts, the most powerful. What the Empress and the Emperor are is all embodying all 4 kings for the Emperor and all 4 queens. So it's not a queen that is, or a king that is the highest in tarot. It's the Emperor and the Empress, because they are all 4 elements they've mastered. So I'm just like blown away that they came up together, the Empress and the Emperor. So I mean, right now you might be I don't remember why I was talking about leaving something behind. But this is a divine counterpart. Like this, you can't, oops, I'm even filming the camera. Like that is the most powerful. That's like power couple. That's like 2 people that have a higher spiritual understanding of life. You know, like it's someone that doesn't hold on to your words and use them against you. It's like someone that has, this is like wise, I mean, it embodies all the kings. So it's all the 4 elements. It's air, water, fire, and earth. So that's all of our earthly senses. So, and the Empress is that, I mean, these are the polar opposites, right? The Emperor is that male, masculine energy, Aries. So it's that leadership, putting things into action, really responsible, really getting stuff done. You know, like he's wise. He's gone through the cycles and doesn't react. It's just like stands in his own authority. I feel like authority's not, I don't feel like authority like someone telling you what to do, but I mean like stands his own, doesn't change his perspective because of everybody else. Like is that person that will know this, not know like, oh well, this is my opinion, even if it's completely against everyone else's, even if they laugh and won't get mad and yell at the person. Like it's because they know who they are. They don't have to prove anything, you know. It's a very, very wise energy, right? So the Emperor, and then the Empress is the opposite. It's like that. It's the feminine. So the Empress in tarot is always pregnant, which means always bringing life, new life, constantly rebirthing cycles, and with love, harmony, and balance. It's all positive with the Empress. I mean, it's nourishing. It's really, it's instead of needing like with the Emperor, this is in life that we need like putting actions into our goals, like completing lessons. You need this Emperor energy, right? Like you need to be motivated and hardworking, and not just, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. You know, the Emperor. No, it's like the Emperor gets stuff done. It's very masculine. So the Empress is the one that heals after those lessons that you've learned. I mean, you need to heal, right? So, and release those energies. So the Empress, it's like there's a lighter touch to it. So really understanding yourself and yeah, bringing love and healing, and it was like bringing balance. Yeah, that balance of light and dark, you know, that it's like nourishing and replenishing after there has been those feelings of, I mean, to become the Emperor, you also have to go through so many challenges of realizing things aren't what they seem, and taking that leadership role in knowing how to grow from experiences without having that energy attached onto them, you know, like being that bigger person. So having to go through all those challenges to make you that strong, bold, standing in your power type of person, I feel like you really had to endure a lot of pain and a lot of not reacting, you know. So it's taken a lot of composure, a lot of restraints, and which that's also what it is, right? It's not a young energy. It's a very wise, that you don't need to prove anything to anybody. You know who you are, you know, like you know what you've learned, and you know that you don't like to mess around with small energy, right? So I feel like these two counterparts coming out, I feel like this is the yin and the yang. I feel like it's in balance to the universe, where there's so much strength that's coming in, but also learning to have empathy for those that aren't yet in that energy. So I feel like you need to be strong-minded to teach others, you know, and not resent and become cold from, you know, from others, you know. And Page of Swords. So yeah, teaching, this is like studying something new, learning something new. I feel like there's going to be some big news coming in, or I feel like you're going to be bringing in this new news, bringing in these new ideas. I feel like, yeah, that's kind of like, all right, you know who you are, you're bold and you're strong, and you don't need others to agree with you, to know that, like holding the book there, you know that you have gone through, you have this knowledge, you know what I mean? Like you don't need anybody to, you don't need to be told, you don't need to feed your ego with others agreeing with you, you know. It's okay, people, you don't mind if people don't understand your way of thinking, because I feel like you're bringing these new thoughts, and clarity and truth coming in, that I feel like you're just kind of in this fresh energy of, you're cycled out and you're kind of like light now. You're bringing in new ideas, and you're not in any kind of, you're not living other people's mindsets. Like, this is you fresh, with your fresh ideas. I just noticed that she's walking on a little rope, or like, I thought she was just like, that's interesting. And like crossing two, and this, she's on the sword. I really feel like you're bringing in some cutthroat ideas that will really upset the opposing team. You know, especially because it's not their ideas. I feel like in the end, a little bit of envy, right? So I feel like you're embracing these challenges, and you're walking on this very unstable foundation, but you have these kind of like bubbles holding you up with air, you know. So I feel like these innovative ideas of how to get things done, because you have done, it's almost like it's just in you. This was all these lessons that have felt like challenges, built up karma possibly. It's because you now know all your information, all the lessons and teachings. Now you're that spiritual master, and even if people don't follow right away with your ideas, I feel like you're expanding people's minds, and it will grow the collective. That's the Empress, so she's always growing, always birthing new ideas, new everything, you know. It's like the world's always turning. Well, it's like that kind of flow with a very nurturing heart and love. So I feel like you have these new ideas of how maybe to almost have like a softer approach to things. So I feel like you're rebuilding these structures, you know, with this strong mind, but yet bringing this light touch, you know, healing. You've already healed yourself. You've mastered the physical and the spiritual, the emotional, and here you are growing a new cycle with your ideas. And a page is very young, so they're new ideas, maybe not catching on yet, you know, but because you know that this is the right way, and you're no longer running away from things that scare you. You're now diving deep. I feel like this is fresh, new energy, because you have a fresh, new outlook on how to birth these cycles and to raise love, and yeah, that you're standing your ground. You're not resisting. You're not feeling like everybody's out to get you anymore. You're not feeling attacked. You know, it's been a long journey. 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands is the burden card, you know, where you're exhausted. So the 9 of Wands, I feel like you waited and you've taken a breath before you got an overburdened and you burnt out, you know. So I feel like this is you saying, you're kind of standing still for a moment and reanalyzing the situation and all the struggle and conflicts that you've gone through with others. It's still not where you want to be. So now you are standing for yourself. You're being resilient. Resilient, I think that's the word. You know, like, okay, that's it. I've had enough. You know, it's my time. it's my time. Then the King of Wands, that's owning it. Like, that is owning it. It's a very attractive energy, very passionate, and I mean, it's fire, it's Mars, so it can be that warrior, soldier energy. Like, we're very strong and go after what you want, you go after your passions, you stare fear right in the face. You're very bold, fiery energy, and I feel like now you're standing your ground, and which makes you much more attractive because you're not there to tell people what they want to hear. You're there to help show people, you know, just by, I feel like, not voicing it anymore, because the emperor is not somebody who voices it. He stands on his own. He doesn't need to argue and debate with people with his opinion. You don't, it's okay, you feel that way, that's fine, you know, I feel my way. It doesn't have to prove a point and be right to everybody, right? So I feel like the King of Wands is you're standing in your truth and not letting anybody, not even pride, get in your way, you know. All right, collective, it's been a long reading. So, one thing I just wanted to, it's the Lost Lands reading. If you're all still with me, I appreciate it. It's a long reading. But you know what? There is lots of amazing and powerful cards that are coming out for the collective. And with this big shift coming in, I feel like lots of people I'm talking to are really almost like, I feel like their perspective is not in a positive way. It's just kind of telling the story of, you know, like what we're being fed, what that has no positive outcome, right? That's, so I see that this is not, it's just an ending. It's time for a new beginning. Nothing is ending here. It's just ending like cycles. The world is far more ancient than our documented history suggests, of course. As souls, many of us have experienced ancient eras on this planet that were much more advanced than ours today. As we begin to remember those times, the rememberings and gifts can come flooding back. At this stage in Earth's timeline, we need the wisdom of the ancients to survive as species. You're being called to connect with the lost wisdom of your own soul. If you feel guided to make a change in your life, to step into a career path, birth a creation, or bring an idea to life, but feel unprepared, this card is calling you to consider that you've done this before. Perhaps your soul has wisdom beyond what your lifespan can imagine. Perhaps the intuitive hits and ideas you're receiving are divinely guided. Perhaps you've been preparing for this time. Some think that lost lands exist in the past. Oh yeah, I do. Others believe they exist today. Hollow Earth. Oh, I almost dropped that. Definitely think they're in different places than we would think, though, where we can't see. Sorry. I believe these ancient lands also exist in the souls of those who experienced them. Oh, I love that. Yeah, and I definitely think with the Akasha records, I always say that wrong. Akasha. Oh my gosh. The records from, like, who knows how long ago, like, I feel like they're coming to us. Like, even if it's not in a book and everything has been taken away and written into their story, his story, history, I feel like there's still certain people that, you know, they aren't looking for it, but I feel like the ones that have these memories, that have, you know, been and traveled to different times and have lived through who knows what, I feel like you're almost like having this weird sense of downloads, you know, like your cells are crystallizing with new information, you know, like it's insane. I feel like we're just, I mean, every 7 years our cells regenerate, so they heal, right? So I feel like when that happens, I feel like there's something that whatever is regenerate, like it's almost like I'm not sure, it's like data, you know, like it's like, I hate using data because that's a material, but no, it's like frequency, you know, things come in through the frequency, you know, that activates us, especially where we are on our journey, you know. Some people, if they're not ready to hear it, then that won't happen, you know, it won't, you have to be at a certain understanding consciously, you know. And then I feel like the Akasha records are the ancestors from stars, like who knows how long ago, thousands, millions of years ago, like. So perhaps the wisdom of the lost lands, such as Atlantis, that's what I was thinking, Atlantis, Lemuria, and Avalon exist within you. I always think about Atlantis, like, I don't know, I'm so interested in that energy, and it just disappeared, you know, like obviously purposely done because it was too advanced. And I mean, it was much more advanced than we were now, so I feel like it was for a reason, right? To really make the memories get lost, like lost with the land. And through the surrendering up to the intelligence of your soul, you can unlock the seeds of these ancient lands so we can all learn from our mistakes and usher in a new age. Exactly. So, I mean, again, learning these lessons, don't resist them. The more lessons that you have been through means that you're a more powerful soul, and you are able to handle it. I mean, sometimes it takes a couple of times coming back, but I mean, it's I feel like at first one of the lessons is feeling like why is this always happening to you? Like it's a hard energy to feel like you're not worthy of something, you know, what other people have. But challenges are for the strong, not the weak. So just look at it as more challenges that you have in your life, some more healing that you're doing that others, you know, maybe you're learning all theyese lessons, which it goes out into the collective, it heals the collective, and then 90% of the world is unable to do that because they're just not there in the understanding. So take it as a compliment, you know, that you're that highly intuitive, intelligent person, you know, that has the gift of the lost lands. Like, you know, like how cool is that you are an ancient being, that you are. And I mean, people that are very intuitive and understand things that people can't see, people laugh at that because they're like, I've never heard of that, I didn't hear that in the TV, I never read that in the book, that's not in the history book. Like, come on. I don't know, I don't even debate with that anymore because it's a losing battle, you know. It's a losing battle, I mean, as in like winning, and winning's not important, being happy is important, you know. So you don't always have to win against somebody's opinion because you don't need to change everyone's opinion. You don't gain anything from that except more stress and frustration. So I feel like share your song, but don't let others that maybe they won't react the way you want them to. They'll think it's silly, you know, and almost maybe get angry because you're insulting their ideas because you don't believe in it. But that doesn't really make sense. But that's just like a trigger, you know, because people don't want to know what they believe is. It just makes them feel silly, you know, telling them they're wrong. But that's not what you're trying to do. You're literally trying to guide them into this greater understanding of. So it releases so much stress. I feel like even there's so much stress right now, I feel like when you're intuitively guided and understand that you're not here just to work and die, it's like, and if you don't complete those lessons and you think, and pass away, well, it's not over. You're gonna come back and still have to learn those lessons. So it's really, I feel like it's being an emotionally mature person, you know, not fixated on very earthly things, right? Because there's way more than what we can see. There's no way that there's only what we see is that's it for us. Like, really, no, this is where we learn lessons. So it's definitely not, it's definitely the lower frequency. Like, if you're learning lessons that cause you pain, you're living in a lower frequency so that your higher frequency self can learn to take that lower frequency energy we're living in, and really lift up the consciousness and lift up. It's just yeah, you have to go deep into the dark to be able to see the light. If you live in the light all the time, you'll never know what the dark is, and other way around. So yeah, that's it, guys. This is a really long reading, so just know that all the opportunities, that all these new not creative thoughts, all this clarity and truth that you're bringing in, that is not going to be accepted by most, right? Because it's not, it's new. I've never heard that. It's new ideas that just sound bizarre to people, right? But know that now you're not resisting, you're resilient, and you're not being burdened by everybody else's, and just living in that energy of burden, because it's burdening you by not being authentic to yourself. It's being weak. Okay, so to be a leader is usually not someone that's always liked, right? You're not the yes person. Yes, 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 I agree. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Like, that just kind of almost like destroys your soul, I feel like, in a sense. But I still feel like the way you express yourself, you have to really come in with a very soft manner, not telling people that they're wrong, because people don't trust that energy. They don't trust somebody making them feel stupid, right? People don't like feeling embarrassed that what they believed in is wrong, right? Nobody wants to be told they're wrong. So I feel like you just need to accept other people and let them, but don't follow what you already known to be wrong. So yeah, everyone has different challenges. So everybody has to complete those challenges at different paces. It might take a long time for some, but you telling them that they're constantly doing it wrong is just gonna lose a friend, because you might not be ready. You don't know what some people are going through, and you may have just added way too much to somebody's. You're not ready to transform. It usually takes something really traumatic in your life to happen, where you think the world is against you, when really it was a wake-up call that, hello, like, that's not the way it is. Like, yeah, it's kind of like that light bulb goes on, ting, and you're no longer in the dark. All right, so that's it. All right, collective. So yeah, big changes with the full moon in Cap, and then the new moon coming in right after in Cancer will be healing. Cancer is very intuitive healing, and really bringing out what we have not been looking at, what we've kind of been keeping in the dark. I mean, I feel like it's going to be illuminating things that are very important, our health and love and things we care about, and not just how much money people make and how many possessions you have and who has the nicest this. I feel like it's going to be really just bringing back to that energy of what really makes you happy in the end. And having all the nicest clothes and the nicest car in the end doesn't really complete you, right? So I feel like it's really going to bring in this homey feeling of what you don't want as well. Realizing what you want makes you realize what you don't want. So yeah, the time to be resilient. I feel like really feeling this card right now, that you no longer want to be burdened, because the next after the 9 is the 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands is burden. It's carrying too much on your back that's not yours. It's not positive energy, and you don't want to get. It's overworked. It's just burdened by too many things. You shouldn't be in that energy. Just because if you're working hard and it's like you're exhausted, that's not burden. To be burdened is to be taking on things that aren't yours, is burdening you. Taking on too much of shit that you don't even, too much stuff that isn't even for you. So 9 of Wands is really taking this step to back up and really re-examine your structure and system and rebuilding it. So yeah, full moon, it will bring in a very intense energy, powerful for the physical reality. And then I really feel like Cancer is going to bring in that nourishing, homey, you know, like bringing you back to what you really want, you know, like instead of always going out to take out restaurants, you know, you really want that home cooked meal. Like what makes you happy in the end? It's a weird analogy, but it's kind of making that realization that something yeah, just yeah, bringing you back to yourself. That's what I think it is. Bringing you back to really simplifying things. Anyways, okay, that's it. All right, hey guys, thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Love you guys. Bye.